Hi, everybody. Yesterday we talked about why Jesus told some of the stories that he told. And we're going to hear one of those stories tonight, which is a really good one. And I'm going to ask you to stay wide awake for it. And it's hard to stay wide awake for it because at the beginning, it's a story about counting sheep. You've heard that expression, right? That when you have trouble sleeping, you should count sheep. You imagine sheep running around and jumping over a fence or something, and you count 1, 2, 3, 4, until you get close enough to being tired that you are counting sheep and you fall asleep. Well, this is a story about a shepherd that was doing that, but he was staying very wide awake while he did it. Once, Jesus said, there was a good shepherd. He spent every day watching over his flock of sheep, and he had 100 of them. Each morning, he led them out into the pasture, and so they would have fresh green grass to eat, and a cool, clear stream of water would be there for them to drink from. The good shepherd watched over all of them. Every day, the shepherd stayed with his flock. If any wild animals tried to hurt them, he protected his sheep. And then every evening, the shepherd would lead the flock back to their pen for the night. And as they entered the pen, he would count them to make sure that none of his sheep was lost. So he'd be there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and on it would go. And one evening, as he was doing this, same as every day, he got to the end, and it was 97, 98, 99, and only 99 were there. But he had 100 sheep. So maybe he started counting again. You know, you can make mistakes like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let me start again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And every time he finished, there were only 99 sheep there. 99 of them were safe, but one of them was lost. And one of them was somewhere else and would need him and needed help. So the good shepherd called for the lost sheep. It knew his voice, it might come back to him, but it didn't. So the good shepherd walked out back to the pasture. He looked by the rocks where sometimes sheep might get caught. He looked in the bushes where he could find a stray sheep once in a while. And the lost sheep wasn't there. But he kept looking and looking and looking. He was looking every place he possibly could, retracing their steps and seeing if there were any side paths that he had missed. He walked along the bank of the stream, calling for his little lost sheep, but it wasn't there either. The good shepherd kept looking, and he didn't give up. Finally, when he found the lost sheep, the shepherd shouted with joy, "Yes, gotcha, found you. Oh, you're all right. Oh, I'm so glad you're okay. Hey, let me take you back where you belong." And he picked him up and he threw him over his shoulder and he carried him back. And they passed along the water and they passed through the meadow. They passed the rocks and they passed all the places where he could have been hurt. And he took him back safely to the pen where the other sheep were. And he put him there safe. Nothing had harmed him. The good shepherd was very happy. He called all his neighbors together for a party. He said, "Share my happiness. One of my sheep was lost and I found it. It's safe." And his friends were all happy for him too. Well, when Jesus finished telling this story, he said, "You know, The same is true of all of God's people. A person who gets lost from God and is found makes God very happy. Jesus wanted everybody to know and love God the way he did. Well, the people he was telling this story to. Remember a couple days ago we talked about them, the men in the temple that were kind of not real happy with the people that weren't hanging out and doing things the right way like they were. Those people that would sometimes point and say, "Why are you spending time with them, Jesus?" Well, this story is about why he was spending time with them. Because God cares about everybody, not just the people you might think of as good. And God loves us all the time. And even when we feel like we're lost and we're doing things we shouldn't, he's there ready to help us get back onto good solid ground again. Because he is, in fact, Jesus used the term for himself. He said, "I'm the good shepherd, and I take care of the sheep." And for that, we can be really thankful. So if it's bedtime and you're tired, just go to sleep and sleep well and have pleasant dreams. And if it's bedtime and you're not tired, well, lay down and maybe count sheep for a change. But either way, get a good night's rest. Good night.